English story. Once there was a bad and jealous queen. She had a kind and beautiful daughter. Many princes from many countries wanted to marry the princess. The queen said to each prince, "Before you marry my daughter, you have to do something for me." And then she gave him impossible job. When he could not do it, she said, "Now you will die." And her woodcutter cut off his head. "You will never marry," she said to her unhappy daughter, and she laughed. Prince Charles was the son of a poor king in a small country. He heard about the beautiful princess. He said to his father, "I want to marry her." "Never," cried the king. "The queen will kill you. You are my only son. I cannot lose you. There are hundreds of beautiful women in the world. You don't have to marry this one." But the prince was very sad. He could not eat. He could not sleep. In the end, his father said, "Go then, go to princess. I hope you will do better than the other prince. I hope I will see you again." The prince was very excited and he danced around his room. He ate a lot of food and got strong again. Then he began his journey. He had no servant because his father was poor. "I will find servant on the way," he said. After a short time, the prince saw a small mountain. "What is that mountain?" he thought. It was not there before. He went near. It was not a mountain. It was a very fat man on his back. Asleep, the prince went near him and the fat man woke up. "What are you doing here, fat man?" asked the prince. "I was asleep," said fat man. "Now I am not asleep because of you." "Why were you asleep?" "Because I had some food this morning. Now I want my lunch." "What did you eat this morning?" asked the prince. "10 chicken and 100 cakes," and said fat man. "Will you be my servant?" asked the prince. "Give me food," said the fat man, "and I will do anything for you." So the fat man followed the prince. A short time later on their journey, they found another man. His head was down and his left ear was on the ground. He looked up. His left ear was very large. "What are you doing, Big Ear?" asked the prince. "I am listening," said Big Ear. "The flowers are opening. The birds are singing in a country over the sea. I can hear them." "What can you hear in the house of the beautiful princess?" asked the prince. "People are crying. Another prince is dead. Will you be my servant, Big Ear?" "Yes," said Big Ear, "I will." A short time after that, they saw two long things by the road. "What are they?" "Trees," said the fat man. They went near. "They are not trees," said Big Ear. "They are arms. The longest arms in the world." A little later, they saw the man said, "You are a very long person," said the prince. "I can be longer than this," said Long Arms. "Come with me, Long Arms," said the prince. "Be me my servant." So Long Arms followed the prince. Next they saw a man with hand over one eye. "Is there something in your eye?" asked the prince. "No," said the man. "I can see a long way. I can see through the things, building, mountain, water. When something is near me, I have to put my hand over one eye. Then I can see it. Come with me." "Quick Eyes," said the prince, "and be my servant." And Quick Eyes followed the prince. They went on the journey, and the sun got very hot. The prince opened his coat. They came to a man by the road. He wore two thick coats and a large hat. They could not see his face. He said, "I am cold, cold, cold." "Why are you cold, cold man?" asked the prince. "The sun is very hot and our coats and shirts are open." "We are hot when I open my coat," answered Cold Man. "The sun disappeared, it snow." "Everything dies of cold. Come with me," said the prince, "and be my servant, but please don't open your coat." Cold Man went with the prince. Prince Charles and his servant arrived at the city, and the prince went to the queen. "I want to marry the princess," he said. "What do I have to do?" The queen answered, "You will have to do three things. Do them well, then you can marry the princess." "What is the first thing?" asked the prince. I have a beautiful blue jewel. Yesterday it fell into the river. Bring me the jewel before the sun goes down. The prince went back to his servant. How can we find the jewel? He asked them. Quick Eyes took his hand from his side. I will look for it. He went to the river. There it over there. I cannot see it, said Long Arm. Then Fat Man opened his mouth and drank the water in the river. A short time later, the river was dry. Long Arms got the jewel and gave it to his prince. The queen was very angry when she saw the jewel. Then she said, tomorrow I will give this prince a very difficult job. She thought hard. She did not sleep that night. The next morning the prince woke up early. He went to the queen again. You are angry after a long journey, she said. With a cold smile, I have 30 chickens outside. Eat them before 12 o'clock. I do not want to find one chicken leg. Can I invite a friend? The prince asked. I do not like eating without a friend. You can ask one friend, said the queen. The prince left. You will die this afternoon, she said to her daughter. And she laughed. The prince went back to his friends. Come with me, Fat Man, he said. Fat Man quickly ate 30 chicken. Then he ate the queen's other animal. The bread in the kitchen, the fruit on the trees, and the vegetable in the ground. Now what can I eat? Asked Fat Man. There was nothing there, so he went to sleep. At 12 o'clock the queen called for her lunch. She waited and waited, but no food came. She went to see the cook. Where is my lunch? She asked. A fat man ate everything in the garden and everything in the kitchen. There is no food. The queen got angrier and angrier. Then she thought of a plan. Ha ha ha. She laughed. Now I will catch him. The prince came to her on the third day. Will you eat with me tonight? She asked with a lovely smile. And after that, would you like to sit with the princess for 2 hours? Yes, answered the prince. When a person falls asleep with the princess, said the queen, the princess disappeared by magic, then the person dies. The prince put on his most beautiful clothes. He ate with the queen. The conversation was very cold. Servant brought wonderful food, wonderful drinks. When the prince turned away for a minute, the queen quickly putting something into the glass of wine. The prince did not see. He drank the wine. Then the queen took him to the princess. They climbed up many stairs to high room. The princess sat sadly by the window. The red light of the evening, the sun light up her beautiful. The river below, the flowers around the window, and her dress were the same color. The prince sat near the princess. They were very happy for a short time. But the prince's eyes suddenly felt heavy. He started to fall asleep. He could not hear the prince's word. His eyes shut. He was asleep. Half an hour later, he opened his eyes again. The princess was not there. He looked everywhere in the room, but he could not find her. He ran to the window and looked out. He saw a big ear below. He called to him, the princess is not here. We have to find her in the next door. Long Arms brought the princess down to the ground. Where is the princess? Can you hear her, Big Ear? Big Ear put his ear to the ground. Yes, he said, I can hear her. She is calling. She said that she is across the river. She is inside a tree. Our mother's men put her there. Quick Eyes look. Yes, he said. I can see her, but how can we get her? Cried the prince. I have an idea, said Coleman. And he opened his cold snow fell. Everything went white. Coleman jumped into the river and the water was ice. They ran across the ice and brought the princess back. Long Arms put the prince and princess back through the window into the high room. They sat down and they opened the door. The queen came in. She could not speak when she saw the princess. She gave them a cold smile. We are having a very interesting conversation, said the prince. We are talking about trees and river. Come with me, said the queen. It is night. Your bedroom is ready. Your servant can sleep there too. The prince said good night to the princess, and he and his servant followed the queen. She took them to a big room. The queen shut the door. She ran to the cook and said, make a great fire under their room. After a short time, the room got very hot. The prince went to the door, but he could not open it. I can hear a great fire below us, said Big Ear. This wonderful, said Coleman. I felt really warm for the first time in my life. Open your coat, Coleman, said the prince. When Coleman opened his coat, the room got colder again. That's better, they said. The queen listened at the door. She heard them. She ran to the cook and said, make the fire hotter. Coleman smiled. I am a warm again, he said. They are cooking us, said the other servant. The prince could not speak because he was too cold. Fat Man cried. There was ice in his hair. The queen came to the door. She listened nothing. They are dead now, she said. She opened the door. The prince and his servant ran out of the room. Let's go and sit by fire, said the prince. My face and hands are blue with cold. The queen could not win, she knew that now. So she left the country. The princess married the prince, and they lived happily, and the good servant lived with them.